Welcome. You're listening to Sports Econ 101, the show where we discuss sports topics from a business perspective. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-host, Russell Jackman. I believe Mike McDowd is off on assignment today, but if he chimes in, he chimes in. At each commercial break, we are going to ask a trivia question. And I want to make a mention here. We call it Drinks Giving and Blackout Wednesday. What am I talking about? It's a very popular night for bars and venues because it's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and
Not
often
now,
use.
though.
Well, why not?
We're not a Wednesday before Thanksgiving right
No, no, no,
now.
no, no, no. But I mean,
Got
coming
Halloween
up
first.
Wednesday. Yeah, coming up on Wednesday, before Thanksgiving. Apparently, a lot of people are out in the town and holiday looking for something fun to do. So, with that, we are mentioning San Fran Halen is playing at the Hot Monk in Novato on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, November 26th. And what are they? They are a tribute band to Van Halen, our favorite band of the late 70s and 80s. Are you a Van Halen fan?
Yes, but the David
Good.
Lee Roth version. The,
Particularly
the
what?
David Lee Roth version.
Oh, the David Lee Roth version. Yes. Well, David couldn't be with the tribute band because he's with the original band. So they have. Actually, it's a friend of mine who is a mortgage broker, and he actually is the Eddie Van Halen. He's a very, very good guitarist. So that's kind of fun. That's at Hot Monk in Novato, California. All right. So let's see here. We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, I could do
I'm
the
gonna
whole show by myself today if you weren't
Yeah,
able
you
to
want
make
me to
it. I
just
could
kind
have
of
done
tune
it.
out? And I'll just
But
sort
it's
of be
your
the tag
show,
team.
so
No, that's
it's
okay.
you.
I'll just be the tag team guy today. All right. Yeah, I definitely want to talk about the Arizona Cardinals. Like the Titans kept trying to give them the win, and Arizona kept giving it back to them. It was just ridiculous the miscues. But for us 49er fans, that was actually a good thing. All right, stay with us. You're listening to Sports Econ 101. Don't touch that dial. We are going to be right back. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown along with Russell Jackman. All right, Russell, take it away. You said you got a couple of good stories to talk about.
Yeah, the first one, well, as you said, we're based in San Francisco. So a huge game was on Thursday where the
Hmm.
49ers, with just an absolute miracle, were
Yeah.
able to beat their rivals, the Rams, with an amazing fumble, some missed field goals, extra
Yeah.
points, all sorts of this crazy game. But the craziest thing wasn't what happened during the game, but was before the game started. Did you hear the story about how Mac Jones, the substitute quarterback for the 49ers, in the morning, looking out his hotel room window, looks at the water in Laguna Beach and sees a floating dead body in the surf?
I didn't hear that.
Yes. And they're still investigating how that person died. But
Wow.
he was coming off of a couple of hours of basically witnessing either a murder or an accidental death. And he still went in and played the game of his life, against the
Yeah.
Rams. I don't know how I could see a dead body in the morning and be able to have like my head be right for a
Well,
prime
I'm not.
time football game.
Well, maybe someone threatened him and said, "Hey, if you don't play well, you're going to be like that guy."
If so, then people should be threatening the entire team, I guess, because
Yeah.
it's not just Mac Jones, but I mean he played one of his best games as a pro,
He
but
did.
a few hours earlier he was staring at a dead body in the surf.
Wow.
So what are you going to do with that? That's like, how
Well,
often
he's
does
a
that happen?
professional football player, so he's got to get rid of that stuff out of his mind.
I don't. There's no way you can prepare for that, or even say to people, if you see a dead body, make sure that you don't let it affect your game.
Well, but it's also, I mean, okay, a dead body is one thing, but when you have like a bad argument with your wife or some other, let's say, your mother just died or something like that, these guys, it's really
Well, there
challenging, but
was
they
that
gotta.
one game.
Yeah.
There was that one Brett Favre game against the Raiders, where Brett Favre's father died like the day
Mm.
before, and he
Yeah.
threw for like 450 yards against the
Yeah.
Raiders because he just was so motivated by
Yeah.
his father's death to like have a huge game after, as a tribute to his father.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then there's people that, obviously when they see something like that happen or something like that happens, they might need to take, a couple of days off. I mean,
Yeah. Exactly.
one of the worst days of my life was I was in court, actually in a hearing, and I got the news that my father died.
Gee.
Like, actually had to tell the judge, I got to make this appearance quick because I need to go home and deal with my father's death.
And
And he,
just to remind the audience, you were the attorney, not the plaintiff or defendant,
right,
correct?
yes, I was an attorney, and I had a very unappreciative client, very insensitive about the fact that my father just died and I'd gotten that news because all he cared about was his case.
You know
And
what, though? If he was smart, he would have said the opposite because he's got to realize that that's going to affect you. So even if it affects you, it actually does affect him,
right,
right?
but he was an idiot, and I won't say his name, but he was a moron, and he was trying to unlawfully detain. He was trying to hold on to an apartment where he had already been evicted, and he wasn't going to
Uh,
leave because he said it would subject him to COVID risks. So it was a really tentative argument anyway that he was going to
yeah.
lose. And I got him a plea bargain. I managed to work out a deal with the other side, even though my father had just died. I was still
Wow.
able to work out a deal, and this guy still was unappreciative of it and
Did
tried
he
to.
at least, did he pay you or did he stiff you?
He, believe it or not, he was under insurance. He paid under legal insurance, and he still wanted his money back. Like the case cost him like $100 out of his pocket, and he still wanted his money back because I wasn't able to win the case for him.
Isn't that amazing?
And
That kind of just, yeah, that kind of, I'm, my blood's boiling and I wasn't even involved in that case.
I know. No, the guy was a complete moron, and he looked like Emo Phillips.
Like
Do you
who?
know Emo Phillips, the
No.
comedian, the bowl haircutted comedian? Just like a
Oh,
yeah, yes.
gotcha.
Anyway,
I get a sense. I get a sense.
so
Wow.
then we have the second story, which
Yes.
is even weirder, and that is the strange case of one Mark Sanchez.
Oh my gosh. You hear about a stabbing and then you think, oh, okay, well, what's going on here? And then you find out that he was kind of more on the aggressive side, wasn't he?
Well, let's explain to the listeners first that Mark Sanchez was a reporter here in the Bay Area. So he was
Oh,
somebody that a lot of people had seen before. I'd seen him.
wait a minute. Wait. Hold on. Aren't you talking about Mark Sanchez, the football player?
No, I'm talking about. Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
am talking about Mark Sanchez,
Yeah,
football player.
not Mark Sanchez. That's a different Mark Sanchez who was the reporter.
Okay, yeah, no, the Mark Sanchez, the football player. Sorry,
Yeah.
yeah, not to impugn the reporter, but he had played here. I mean, with the Jets,
Yeah.
he had appeared a number of times against the Raiders, and I think he
Correct.
played against the 49ers once, and so people know who he is.
Yes. Hmm.
But apparently, and I'm not. The story is still very strange. He
Yeah.
goes up to a trucker, a 69-year-old trucker,
Yeah.
who was emptying grease out into a grease trap. And he
Yeah.
goes up to him and says, "You aren't supposed to be here." And then he starts attacking the trucker and starts pounding the trucker. And the trucker takes out a knife and
Yeah.
stabs Sanchez several times. And then Sanchez takes the knife and stabs the trucker in the
Oh,
face.
I didn't hear that part of it.
Yeah. And so
Wow.
now he's being held for aggravated attempted murder.
Well,
I
and
know.
apparently he was quite drunk, and it was very late in the evening or early in the
In
morning.
the middle of Indianapolis, of all places. Just a
Yeah.
very extremely strange story that I think
And the
is going to
next
get
day he was
weirder.
supposed to be, the in the booth playing, doing his gig.
Right, right. No, what he was doing in Indianapolis and by a trucker that was emptying out grease, and why he wanted to get into a fight over that. And he said, he was the aggressor the whole time.
Yeah.
is beyond anybody's comprehension. But I guess as this whole thing unfolds, we'll finally get the truth on it. But it's one of the stranger stories that I've heard in quite a long time. You had that with Mac Jones staring at a corpse, and it's been a strange week in sports.
It's been quite challenging, hasn't it? Okay,
Yes,
can we have a little bit on a little bit lighter side?
sure.
Let's
It
have a
can't
little
get
bit of
any heavier than that. We've
no, no,
got
no. Let's
the
have a
weird stuff.
silly joke of the week. So I asked my wife if I was the only one she ever loved, and she said yes. All the others were nines and tens.
Oh,
Nice. Ooh,
and
yeah.
I just wanted to say this. I really love green. I love green better than blue and yellow mixed together, combined.
Like money.
Yeah, but I like the color green because I like it even more than the combination of blue and yellow.
Okay. Other than money, how does that
Blue and
fit in?
yellow makes green. That's it. You didn't get the joke. You
Yeah.
didn't get the joke.
It has to
Sorry.
do with, right? Money, green.
No. It was just when people say I like something more than something combined. These two things combined.
Uh, no.
Never mind. It was a dad joke that didn't
Sorry, I didn't
land.
get it. All right. Are you okay? You know what's so funny? Guess what our first trivia question is? Here
Something
it
about
is.
green.
No, but very interesting. What three colors are present in the flag of Colombia? Isn't that
Oh
funny? You just have
no.
different colors and then
My
there.
son is the king of flags. My
Are you the
son.
king? Are you the king?
No.
Your
Yeah, my
son is the
son
king
is
of
the king
flag?
of flags. He can name like 200 of them.
Wow, wasn't that just like Sheldon on Big Bang Theory?
Oh
And
yes,
yeah,
yes,
uh,
absolutely.
fun with flags. That's what it was. So funny. All right, audience, that's our trivia question. Stay with us. Sports Econ 101 will be right back. Don't touch that dial. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown along with Russell Jackman. Our first trivia question, we're talking fun with flags, as they say on the Big Bang Theory. What three colors are present in the flag of Colombia?
My son will be upset if I get this wrong, but I'll say red, white, and black.
No, you only have one color correct.
Well, there you go. That's how much time
It,
I spent.
it is red, but it's also blue and yellow.
Blue and yellow. Sorry,
Yeah, just figured
and
I'd
I
kind of
was right in my previous joke. It was I was correct.
you was correct with that. And then and orange what made up of what two colors?
Uh, uh, Yellow and red.
Very good. And
Yes,
and and blue is made up of what colors?
itself.
Ah, there you go. That was a trick question. It is a primary color. Very
Yeah,
good. And
well,
purple.
you're talking to a
What about
computer
purple?
guy. I remember the RGB monitors, red,
Oh yeah.
green, blue monitors. So there you go.
And what about what two colors make purple?
Red and blue.
Very good. And what two
Yes,
colors make green?
I just said it. Blue and yellow. What are you trying to get?
Very good.
Trying
I just
to
wanted to
trip
make
me
sure
up
you
on that?
remembered
No, I know
that.
my colors. A lot of stuff I don't know, but colors I know. So the next thing I wanted to talk
Yeah.
about was the postseason in baseball.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of that and some definitely dramatic stories going on. Especially, I think the number one thing is how moribund, and I like that phrase, moribund, the New York Yankees look against Toronto.
Not so
I
good,
mean, it
huh?
really looks like a T-ball team up against a Major League Baseball team.
Well, they had that pitcher. He just dominated. I think it was
And the amount of runs that
yeah,
Toronto has scored
yeah.
against New York. They are just, I mean, they've scored double digits in both games against
This
New
could be
York.
the replay of not so much the replay, but the Toronto when they won 92 and 93 with Joe Carter.
Yeah, yeah. And I'd be thrilled if Toronto was able to stand up to Los Angeles because right now, Los
Yeah.
Angeles, they're not dominating, they're not beating everybody by a million runs.
Yeah.
But what scares me more is they're getting all the breaks. They're getting
Hmm.
all the luck. they're beating teams, 3-2 or 4-5 or whatever, but they're doing everything right that it takes for them to win games. And to me, I think it's going to wind up being a Toronto, Los Angeles World Series, which I'll watch.
And wait a minute, you're not going to root for the USA team?
Not
If
one
it,
single bit. They might as well be. They might as well be Vladimir Putin's Dodgers, for as much as I would root for them. No, there's nothing I would root
San
for
Francisco Giants
less.
fan for you.
There's nothing I would root for less in sports than the Los Angeles Dodgers, and that includes the Dallas Cowboys. That includes, that includes the Los Angeles Lakers. That includes, that includes anyone in the NFC West, which I never root for either. I would sooner root for any other team in Major League Sports, any other team in college sports than the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Well, I was going to say that, boy, can you imagine if Cleveland would have beaten Detroit? What a story that would have been. I mean,
But
just
it
the
didn't
fact
happen.
that
It didn't happen. In fact, I'm glad it didn't, because the Detroit-Seattle series is the one to watch. That's fun. That has been great baseball from the opening pitch to the end of the last inning. That you really have to watch that series, every inning of that series, because stuff happens. There's great baseball going on. There's been great pitching. There's been great fielding. There have been key hits. It's been every game's been exciting and close. And the series is tied 1-1. What do you want from a series like that?
And this young guy, Cal Raleigh, he's like a Mike Trout.
Well, and what about the dumper? The guy who's the hitter, the catcher for Seattle, that's got all those home runs.
Yeah. I mean, you got to feel for Seattle because they've never been in the World Series. They came kind of close back when they lost to the Yankees in
24 years ago.
Is that what it was?
24 years ago.
90,
I wasn't even married.
Well, 2001, I guess. Yeah.
2001.
Well,
I was just starting my pro wrestling managerial career, literally, when Seattle was a good team. And so, I'm rooting hard for Seattle, but I don't think they're going to measure up to Toronto. Toronto, to me, has that look like they're ready to chew somebody up and spit them out. And that's what you need to win a World Series. You can't go into a World Series with just this little tentative, maybe win a game here, maybe win a game there. You have to say, I'm going to win every game. I'm going to win every game, and I'm going to win every game by 5 runs.
And Guerrero is just like his dad. Just like his dad.
He is. I always wish that Vlad Sr. had been a Giant. I think that was one of the missed opportunities. They could have teamed Vlad Sr. up with Barry Bonds in his final years, and they just never pulled the trigger on a trade.
So Bob Melvin, he's got the exit door, right?
Yes, that happened between when we last talked. Yeah, Bob Melvin's, in reading the want ads and seeing where he can apply. I mean, it's a lot of egg on Buster Posey's face, because he re-upped Melvin during the season and extended his contract when he could have easily made him wait and see. And unfortunately,
how much of the Giants' failing was on Melvin? What do you think?
I'm going to say like about 75%.
Really? I mean, again, by who he's putting in, because it's all the various things that a manager.
It's more of a thing where you say to yourself, when the whole does not equal the sum of the parts, it's the manager. That there was enough talent on that team to be better than what it was. And the fact that we had a 9-game lead over a 9-game over 500 record and finished with a 500 record after the All-Star break was a big problem. The one thing too about Melvin that I've always had a problem with was that he refused to commit to a leadoff batter. He went through in 162 lineups. I bet you 150 different leadoff hitters. I'm not being facetious.
Yeah. So, I mean, whether he's just like not feeling that he's getting production from his leadoff hitter.
I don't know.
So
I don't think he understands, and I'm serious about this. I don't think he understands what the role of a leadoff hitter is. When you put Yastrzemski in as a leadoff hitter, a guy who's hitting 210 as a leadoff hitter and has no speed on the bases, then you don't understand what a leadoff hitter is about. You know, I hate to say this, but the Giants haven't had a good leadoff hitter since Hunter Pence left, and they really haven't had a dedicated leadoff hitter since Angel Pagan left. And I know you like go, oh my God, that's a long time, but really, for over a decade, the Giants really haven't had a committed leadoff hitter. Now, I know getting a guy to bat 300 is hard to do. In fact, I heard that in the major leagues this year, here's a trivia question for you. How many hitters hit over 300 last year?
Wow. That's a good question because I remember back in 1967, it was just Carl Yastrzemski who was the only one who hit over 300 because the mound was so high. I don't know how many.
Well, just throw a number out there, and then I'll tell you.
Well, 10%.
That would be like 20 or 30. You know, like about 30 or 40. There were 7. There were 7.
7?
7 batters. What
do they attribute that? What did they attribute that to?
The chicks dig the long ball. And so it's the emphasis is on home runs now, and nobody cares that you bat 200 if you hit 20 home runs. You know,
well, I guess it really does depend on when you hit those home runs. I mean, if it's gonna give you a lead or make you win the game.
Yes, but being so low a percentage on base is what's killed the Giants. The Giants won 3 titles with Bochy because of small ball, not because they hit a ton of home runs. And small ball right now is dead. I mean, nobody knows how to play it. I mean, maybe Bochy does. He sort of won a title last year with playing with kind of small ball sort of stuff.
That's what made St. Louis really good in the 80s, doing a lot of small ball.
But that's the 80s. That's the 80s. I think the Giants were the last team to not really hit home runs and still win a World Series. And since then, it's been a decade plus year. You know, it's been 11 years, and the game of baseball has changed dramatically. And that sort of thing just can't be done.
Doesn't it seem like they just won the World Series?
No, it doesn't. As a Giants fan, it feels like 100 years since they won one. Yeah. It really feels like a long time.
When you win every other year, 10, 12, and 14, it kind of seemed like they were always doing it. Tell you what, let's go to our next question here, and then we'll come back with some more sports stuff. What was the first Pixar movie? What was the first Pixar movie?
Are you talking the first short?
No, this was not a short.
Because there was Luxo Jr., which was the animated short that won.
Yeah, this would be what was the first Pixar movie? So really, it wasn't a short; it was a real movie. All right, stay with us. Sports Econ 101 will be right back. Don't touch that dial. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. One more time, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Russell Jackman. No Mike McDowd today. He's off on assignment. Second trivia question. What was the first Pixar movie?
Bug's Life?
No, this is before that, I think.
It's before Bug's Life.
Yeah.
Was it Toy Story?
Toy Story.
It was Toy Story. Okay. I forget whether Bug's Life came before Toy Story now.
Yep.
But my friend Chris Perry was on the production crew of Bug's Life. So,
what did he do? What did he do?
He was part of the animation crew.
The
computerized animation stuff. And Bug's Life still holds up. If you watch it now, it's still a fun movie to watch, even though the animation is really barbaric. But it's still a very clever movie.
I remember seeing it with the kids, and then going to Disney. I guess it was California Disney that had the Bugs Life attraction. It was really kind of fun.
Well, one thing I was going to mention about the Giants before we cut
Yeah,
off
go
to the last thing, the Giants finished with an 81 and 81 record, and someone on KNBR, I forget which host it was, mentioned that at the time, this was during the season when the Giants had their 9-game lead and dropped down to 500, that he looked back over the last 500 games of the Giants and their record
it was 250 and 250.
250 and 250.
Wow.
500 games. And they're 250 and 250. That includes when they were 100 and when they won 107 games.
Well, there were
So
times when they were pretty stinky.
the Giants have been just a mediocre team. And it is fascinating that with 3 different coaches, managers, all the personnel changes, they're still a 500 team. And that to me is why Melvin had to go. Is that you just if all you're going to do is wind up being 500, we can get anyone to do that with the Giants. Yeah. Literally anyone can do that.
You're right. Yeah.
So prove you're something exceptional, Bob. And I was the thing that's very tough was I was really in favor of us getting Stephen Vogt at the time.
Yeah,
when we chose Melvin. But Melvin had the experience and he was the hot prospect. And Buster Posey went with the guy he knew versus the guy he didn't know. And now Stephen Vogt wins Manager of the Year with Washington and has made that team more of a contender, whereas the Giants are still stuck in mediocrity. And so, I do think that Buster Posey, this hasn't been a great year for him, and he's got to hopefully learn from these mistakes and put together a better team next year. So,
well, our friend Bobby Evans is working alongside him, so hopefully he'll give him some.
I was surprised that Buster had this much trouble putting together over 500 team with the talent he had. So we'll see what next year.
Being a catcher, they're the quarterback of the team, so to speak. So he should know.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and we still don't have a manager. We still haven't hired a manager, which is interesting. I guess he's going to wait till after the postseason, and maybe some coaches are going to get let go.
And Bochy is not coming back apparently.
No, that he said on the air on KNBR that there's 0% chance of that happening, which on some level I'm disappointed because I love Bochy, but on the other hand, I think the Giants' next manager is one they should commit to for 5 years. So they should really be ready, whoever they get, to stand behind him. You can't win in any sport when you keep rotating coaches.
That's true. I mean, players are not robots, and that it really does affect them. Yeah, totally. So, we were recording on Tuesday, the day after the Monday Night Football game with.
What a game that was!
That was entertaining.
Well, all the things that went right for Kansas City last year, where they won 11 games in a row by under 4 points.
Yeah.
This year, that Cobra has come out of the cage and is biting them in the ankle repeatedly. They are snake bitten. And that pick six, 99-yard pick six by Mahomes, I've never seen him throw a pick six for 99 yards.
No, he he doesn't want to get hurt, so he kind of did sort of a not so good attempt at
He doesn't want to get hurt. What do you think about? What do you think Kansas City wants?
No, of course not. But then there was one other player, and I don't know who it was, but he looked like he was just trying to push the guy out of bounds, and he just kind of feebly made an attempt at him, and sure enough, he got the win. And then what about Trevor Lawrence, that dive at the end to get that touchdown?
Yeah. Well, that whole thing where he was stumbling, bumbling, fumbling, and kind of reminded me of that Steve Young play where he ran against Minnesota.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
where
was
he
so
got where
tired.
he was gonna fall, and somehow got back on his feet and was able to get into the end zone, at the very last second. But
Well, I think on that play, Steve Young ran about 150 yards, if I'm not mistaken.
yes, from around and sideways and all that stuff, absolutely. It took like 8 minutes off the
Yeah.
clock with that run. But
And I remember, I think he
no,
just
that
sort
was
of
that
at
was
the end
drama.
zone.
That sort of thing didn't happen to Kansas City last year.
Yeah.
Last year, they won against Atlanta when Atlanta chose to go for it twice on fourth down, and then they
Yeah.
lost by 5 points.
Well,
They
that's
conceded field
because
goal.
Taylor Swift and Kelsey hadn't been engaged then.
Yeah,
Come
maybe
on.
there's something to be said about that. Although, the rest of the team has problems. In fact, it's the running game that I think that has abandoned Kansas City that's causing them so many problems. I mean, Mahomes is their leading rusher, and not by a small amount. He is Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt have barely scratched the surface. I don't think either one of them has ever 50 yards in any game so far this season. And at 5 games into the season, you kind of are the team you are now. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
that's a good point. That's a good point. And the thing that's cool about Jacksonville is they, I guess the way they're being coached, which I like this, is it's like be really aggressive, and they're going for the ball, and I think they have the most turnovers in their favor, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah,
Or yeah,
yeah. No, they get like 3 a game, and they
amazing
cost my
too.
49ers, an unbeaten record so far. But then again, all the teams have been beaten now. And by the way, I dislike one of the things I dislike more than anything else is the Dolphins from '72 opening the bottle of champagne when all the teams lose, and there are no more unbeaten teams. There is no team that is going to go 17 games in the modern NFL and the postseason without losing a game.
Well, they
That's
were,
too long.
and they only had 14 game season
That's what
then.
I'm saying. They
Yeah,
shouldn't be celebrating that record because it's like Cy Young's record. It's just the game has
yeah,
changed so much. Or
yeah.
like Cal
Yeah,
Ripken Jr.'s
no, I
second
think Cy
record.
Young's record is the one that's got pretty close to
Actually,
untouched
I think just as unassailable is AC Green's 780 games or 800 games played in a row
in basketball.
in basketball
Oh,
because of load management. You're guaranteed the best players will all take games off every season. That's just built into the game
oh
now.
yeah, okay, yeah, that's true. But I mean, if you think about Cy Young, you got to pitch for like 25 years, and you have to win
Yeah, but
over
if you're
20.
if you're AC Green, you gotta play 10 solid years of basketball and not miss a game.
Well,
How
to
is
not
that
get hurt.
possible? How
Well,
is
like you
that
said,
possible?
well, I mean, if a coach is going to keep you in, I mean, you're right. If the coach is purposely going to keep you out, then it's impossible. Same thing like in baseball
But the
with Cal
players
Ripken.
now demand it. I mean, the players say themselves, "I'm not going to play back-to-back road games. I'm not going to
Yeah,
play.
exactly.
If we're going to have a 7 game road trip, I'll play 5 of those, but I'm not going to play all 7." And that's
Yeah.
just that. Same with baseball. Same with basketball. I don't think you'll ever have a consecutive game winner again in that
No,
in
probably
either of
not.
those sports.
And back to the football one. The Patriots almost did it. They just lost the last minute to the Giants. Otherwise, they would have been seven, not more than 17-0. They were like
Oh yeah.
20,
No, they would have been 19-0.
19-0. Yeah. So they
I
actually
thought you were
beat
talking
the
about this Sunday. I was like going, Patriots didn't
yeah,
play the Giants. But the Patriots did get a huge win on the
yes.
weekend
Yeah.
over Buffalo.
Yeah. That's what made Buffalo finally lose a game. They still look.
Yeah, I
They
know.
still,
It's. I am so glad that I don't bet on sports. One of the
yeah.
things that we had when we had FP Santangelo Jr. on
Yeah.
was, we talked about gambling and
Yeah.
sports, and I'm on the anti side, and he was on the
Oh,
pro
right.
side. There was a poll taken that said that the majority of adults feel that gambling in sports is taking sports the wrong way, and is heading
You
sports.
and I would agree with that.
Yeah, I really wish I don't do Bodog. I don't. People say, "Oh, you know so much about sports." why don't you get on, one of these sports betting sites and clean up? And it's like, all I got to say to people is, if you saw my fantasy football teams, you'd know how much I really know about sports. And let me just give an example. Like, I had to choose between Jared Goff and Patrick Mahomes, okay, this week as the starting quarterback. Jared Goff has been coming off of hot weeks, and he played up against Cincinnati, which is a total mess.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes was going up against right now one of the best defenses in the league.
Yeah.
And so, which one do you decide to start? Jared Goff or Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah, you
Start Jared Goff, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But Patrick Mahomes threw for over 300 yards and had 60 yards rushing. He was a friggin' one-man house of fire against one of the best defenses.
Yeah, the thing is about sports, but you can know a lot about sports, but betting on them, I mean, like, again, a guy gets hurt, or it's not an exact science. So you can know everything about sports.
Or New England beats Buffalo. Nobody saw that coming.
Or people claim to be, like economists, and they seem to always be wrong, but yet they're the smartest people in the rooms, apparently.
Any given Sunday, I tell people, any given Sunday, and that's why I'd rather just watch sports for the enjoyment of it, and with my fantasy teams, maybe not the enjoyment of it, but I never put any money down, because that's the easiest way to lose your love of sports. Is once it becomes
I know. I used to bet on the Super Bowl, on all these various things, and suddenly it's like I wasn't enjoying the game anymore because I was just concentrating on, hey, did I win
who's
that?
Covering the spread, and how much are you going to get over or under, that kind of thing. Absolutely.
Yeah, totally. I remember the year with when John Riggins was going again, when it was Washington and the Raiders when they were in LA against Marcus Allen, and I thought, well, gosh, they're going to give Riggins the ball a lot because the year before they beat Miami and he had the big rush and all that kind of stuff. Well, they concentrated on him, and Marcus Allen broke one really big, and so I lost that bet. At least I bet on the Raiders, but it was like still it took the enjoyment out of it. Okay, here's our last trivia question. We have another cartoon type one. What is the highest grossing animated film of all time? All right, that's our trivia question. Stay with us. Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back with some closing comments. Don't touch that dial. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Last time for today, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with my other co-host, Russell Jackman, and hopefully next week, Mike McDowd will be back. Third trivia
question. Yes, because all of you folks are missing your Central Florida sporting news.
That's right. Yes, exactly. What is the highest grossing animated film of all time?
Toy Story?
No. That was our question. I rarely have a question where the answer is the same from the one before.
Oh, I thought you were trying to be tricky.
Oh, sometimes I am tricky. You're right. Not this time.
Then would it be, that's a really hard question. If it's not Toy Story.
No, but it was around the same time, though.
Same time.
Like it's not like Snow White or anything like that.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe that if you adjusted it for tax dollars. Moana?
No, The Lion King.
Oh, The Lion King. Yeah.
This is the 2019 remake.
Copies. I think so much about the live action version that came out just a couple of years ago. Kind of forget about the animated version a little bit.
Oh, yeah. No, but that was great though. We loved first time I got like surround sound, the Stampede. It just sounded fantastic on the surround sound. It was great.
Wow.
Okay, are you ready for our thoughts for the day?
Yeah.
Here we go. So my wife was missing for a week. The police said to prepare for the worst. So I went back to Goodwill and got all of her stuff back.
That's good.
That's a bad one. Okay, and then I went to McDonald's and ate a kid's meal. His mom got really angry with me.
That's great. And then I have advice for you. If you're ever being chased by a taxidermist, do not play dead.
I like that. That's a good one. You make that up?
All right. Well, there's a dad jokes thing on Facebook, and they have hundreds of terrible
Okay, I
dad
like that. I'm
jokes
going
to
to
throw
present
out
that to
there.
my kids. All right, audience, tune in next week to Sports Econ 101. We're going to be discussing sports topics from a business perspective and asking more trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm your host, Edward Brown. We'll see you next week.
Adios.
So long.